Hi friends, I hope you're doing well this week. Today's video has to do with plant or tree identification. Lately I've had a saying, a resource isn't a resource unless you know what it is and how to use it. I say that because about a year ago I got my first ember-on bow drill, and I was learning on cottonwood and store-bought cedar. And I thought I had no resources on my property. How wrong I was. It was so bad that I contacted a park ranger. I drove an hour just to go get some cottonwood and start learning to identify it. Well, once I started walking around on my property and learning this stuff, I found all kinds of cottonwood. I found cedar and a lot of other hardwoods, but I didn't even know what I had. So it was one of those, I had resources, but because I didn't know what they were and how to use them, they weren't truly a resource to me. So whenever I travel, I always try to contact the local park rangers, look on the websites and see what resources are available. And I try to locate them, and then I'll make some type of primitive fire, play around with it. And it's a bit of work, which is fine. But it is a bit of a struggle if you don't have somebody to show you the ropes. And so I figured, you know what, why don't I do what I can to help other people identify some plants? What if you're like where I was a year ago? So today I thought I would give you some tips on identifying cottonwood. All right, I'm going to try to time this with the right light and the right angle so you can kind of see how the cottonwoods stand out. So like this right here, not a cottonwood, but over here are the cottonwoods. Let's walk up to them. I think what really helps me identify cottonwoods this time of year is just the way the leaves blow in the wind. They kind of stand out, at least in this neck of the woods. Okay, those are cottonwood leaves. I want you to take a look at this tree here. This is a really big cottonwood, and from a distance, when you look at the leaves, you can kind of tell what it is once you get used to it. But as you look at it, this tree has gotten really big, and so it's gotten a lot more rutted, and I guess it makes identification more difficult in the wintertime. But so this is what a cottonwood looks like when it gets really, really big. Okay, I want to show you guys a pile of cottonwood that I got when I went out to Indian Cave State Park. A ranger took me out to a downed cottonwood and let me harvest some. And this is when I realized I had a whole lot to learn. Okay, so this cottonwood all came from the same tree. So here you can see, okay, so we got some crags. It's that lighter color bark. But what happens when we get up here to these branches up here? You're not seeing those crags. You just kind of see, you got the same shade. But so depending on where the development is, you might see almost no crags. You might see some crags, or on the really big ones, you're going to see some deep crags. So depending on the stage of the tree, it could be difficult. All right, so you can see this tree here in the foreground and the background. Those are cottonwoods. Let's get a little bit closer here. All right, so this is where it gets tricky to identify some cottonwoods, because there's different species and different stages of growth. So this one hasn't got quite the same bark pattern that I'm used to, but it definitely is a cottonwood. Now let's take a look at that one branch laying behind there. As we zoom in, see that lighter color is pretty smooth? So that's a cottonwood. So you can, from a distance, it'll stand out from the other trees. So here we go. We've got some downed cottonwood here. This would make good fire material, at least to get one started, whether it be bow drill or just your beginning part with regular tinder. Okay, here's another example of some cottonwood trees. Try to look at that bark and those leaves there. It's like how you have the two different tones out there. And I know a lot of it just has to getting used to the plants that are in your area. But here, you take a look at these leaves. Books say kind of triangular looking. And I guess that's right. It's not exactly like a heart, but also lighter on the background, on the back, on the non-waxy side, but I guess that's common with most plants. Yeah, here's a good example of a cottonwood bark before it gets really, really big and really, really craggy. Here's a smaller one. But yeah, they stand out from the rest of the crowd. See, even more. See, look at all those like light color bases. Not super dark, the kind of lighter green there. Again, those leaves really stand out. They blow in the wind quite a bit differently than all the sister trees around here. Sometimes you'll get these tall olive oil looking versions here. I'm not sure if this is the Fremont or not, but this is also another cottonwood. But yeah, look at it, it doesn't branch out as much. It just kind of goes up straight up and down, just like this one over here, another cottonwood. Here's a very good down piece of cottonwood. It's homie helped me find it one day. It's getting more deteriorated now, so the bark is not as distinguishable, but it still has that inner bark there. So tulip poplar ain't the only one with an inner bark. But yeah, this has been a very good tree. I've been able to make bow drill with this without a problem. Here's another dead one. But if you look inside here, we got some good inner bark. That would make for good kindling. Right there. So this one's been sitting around for a while, but the bugs and birds haven't gotten to all that just yet. Alright, so what is cottonwood good for? Well, for me, it was the wood of choice to learn bow drill while, out here in this neck of the woods. It's a I don't know, a soft wood, so it's ideal for getting a fire started. It does burn hot. It doesn't last very long, so that's not something you want to keep throwing on your fire. Then move to your hardwoods, your oaks, your Osage orange, your hackberry, something hard like that. But this is good for getting started. I don't know, it's the tree of fire. So this is not a processing video. It's just more like, hey, how do you identify cottonwood in case you're out in this neck of the woods? For me, what I've done is I just took a branch here, I quartered it. I'll make bow drills out of these two at some point. But I've already got a kit here, and so, whoops, got a kit here. I'll go ahead and make an ember just for giggle's sake, since we're talking about cottonwood. And this is really what I use it for, at least for practice nowadays. And I'm going to do the angle. I want to concentrate on the down here at the burn-in, not the whole bowing, because I'm actually working on another side project as far as when it comes to bow drill tips. This next video is going to be about making a good notch, or at least what I feel is a good notch. Okay, let's try this angle. I've never done this before, so hopefully we'll get a good recording and a successful ember. I'm actually looking forward to this because I like to see how the powder builds up. I only see it from above, so this will be a neat angle. Hope I don't hit the phone / camera. Well, we got an ember. Let's see if the camera was able to recover. Well, there's your ember. So I'll be interesting to go back to watch this thing. That was interesting. So it's not windy. I'm confident with this one. Let's give it a little tap. Yeah, we got a nice ember. Yep, ember's going nice, and all you got to do is drop that onto a bird's nest and you'll have fire. All right, thanks for watching.